Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Stephanie, and today I have something super special for you guys. I would love to introduce you to someone that I have been loving lately. As I said, I would love to introduce you guys to someone that I have been loving lately, and that is author Kenya Wright. So I'm going to pop Kenya in right now, and we are going to introduce you to this amazing author that I have been fangirling over for quite some time. So
Hello,
Miss Kenya Wright. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I'm glad it's 2021. I'm done with 2020. It's a new year, new me.
What?
The usual.
Yes. So, Miss Kenya Wright, please introduce yourself, because I could sit here and fangirl, but I'm sure I would miss something. And I'm trying not to cheese too hard through this whole thing, because I am super honored that when I reached out to you and you were like, yeah, not a problem.
Oh God, I was super honored. Shoot.
So please introduce yourself.
Yeah, I stalk you a little bit, a tiny bit, just every other night. I'm on your Instagram. Or, oh, what she do today? This is the real? Okay. And then I'll go on your YouTube anytime I have time. But yes, my name is Kenya Wright. I've been writing for 10 years. I do multicultural romance, although I've done many other types of characters. I also write fantasy and lots of mystery. I love dead bodies. I went one year saying that every book would start with a dead body, and I did that challenge. It was funny. 60 novels published all over, traditional published and indie published, 5 publishers, in audiobooks, and also my books are on Spotify too. So I'm getting out there. One day it's gonna be, and I'm on Netflix and Hulu and all that. I'm putting that out there, the energy.
There you go. Put that energy out there to the world.
Yes.
So the book that brought me to you was actually the movie adaptation of 365 DNA.
Love Michelle Malone.
People, I was like, I am so obsessed with Massimo, right? And they were like, well, if you love Massimo, then you need to find and read the Lion and the Mouse series.
Wow.
You're right. So I read that first one, and I was so hooked from then on. So where did you get the inspiration to write the Lion and the Mouse series? And for those that don't know, it is a Russian mafia interracial romance.
Exactly.
I would definitely put it in dark romance.
Yes, it's some darkness in there. You will laugh, but there is darkness. But you'll laugh though. But it's really funny how Dirty Kisses started, which is book 1 of The Lion and Mouse, and it was my beta reader at the time, because I have several alpha readers and beta readers, and it was her birthday coming up, and I was like, hey, what do you want for your birthday? And she's like, oh my God, because you write a Russian mafia? And initially I was like, ew, Russian mafia? The world has enough of these right now, right? I said, whatever. I started reading them, getting excited. I was like, oh, why was I hating on this genre? So I started writing because of her, because of that. That was my challenge. And I just fell in love with the characters. I also like doing retellings in my stories. The Lion and the Mouse is just one of my great favorite fables. And so I like the idea of this female being this quirky little mouse, right? Who constantly gets the lion out of trouble. And the lion is this big, rambunctious, dominant alpha of all alphas type of guy who really gets outsmarted by this woman all the time, and it completely adores her. So that's where that came about. Now it's kind of gone into a sort of Marvel universe situation, because I have the French mafia.
Okay.
the Japanese mafia, and then their enemies, and so it's become fun. Lots of fun.
So how many spin-offs are there? Because there's The Lion and the Mouse, then you have the two
the Butcher and the Violinist.
Right.
Yes. And then their cousins' books will be coming out soon. And then I have Kenji, who's Japanese Mafia, and I had a Japanese Mafia book for him, and then there'll be another. And then Casimir, the lion's cousin, Misha, in love with this Prima Ballerina, Black Prima, first ever Black Prima Ballerina in Russia. So, you know. So far, that's how many spin-offs so far. I see, since they're now, the book I'm writing now, book 6, and The Lion and Mouse, they're in Italy. And I already can tell, like, some Italian characters that I really want to explore further.
Oh, that is exciting. That is so exciting. So since you brought up the first Prima Ballerina, I noticed that you put a lot of sort of history into your stories. Is that something that you research heavily, or?
Oh my God, yes.
How do you integrate it so well without being so heavy-handed with it? Because I love that about it.
I mean, well, you know, some people say I can be heavy-handed, especially with the Russia stuff. They're like, girl, I learned too much about Russia. Okay, we get it. Russia has a deep history. But I like edutainment, right? Like, I like movies, I like books, cartoons, anime, whatever, but everything. I need to be learning something as I'm enjoying this great, you know, mystery, romance, sci-fi. Like, please teach me some stuff too, because I'm spending my time looking at this. I want to learn something too, right? So my purpose always is to not only entertain and arouse and make you laugh, but also to have you walk away knowing about the ballerina world, or knowing about the country of Russia. Like, I hate mafia books where you don't know the organization of the mafia or how it came about or the country. It's just like, he was Italian mafia and he had muscles. Now they have sex. It's like, I'm in a pandemic. Can I experience the country? Can I learn something about the food and the wine and the music? Right. So I try my best not to be too heavy-handed with it, but I do. The research to me is my favorite part of writing.
Okay, so how long does it take you to usually write one of these books?
Okay, you know, when I first started off 10 years ago, a year and a half. Now, to write it, because I have this, it's called FAST method, F-A-S-T. So the first thing is format, you outline, that takes a week. Then apply for A, and then S is strengthen and tighten. I would say all of that together is about 6 weeks or 6 to 8 weeks, right? But so it's like,
tear me apart and just be popping them out there for me, aren't you?
It's intense, though. It's like, you better focus. Can you focus? Like, it gets intense. So, you know, but I would say 6 to 8 weeks, and it involves like 2 editors, a proofreader, 2 alpha readers, and like 6 or 7 beta readers. And like throughout my processes, I'm sending them to a person. What do you think? What do you think? Okay, getting it back, right, and you know, changing. So it's a huge process. Like, I'm exhausted at the end of each book, and then I need a week off to like just be one with myself, you know.
Wow. So are you a reader?
Yes. I don't read as much in genre as I used to read. And authors, it's hard for us to read and not like steal ideas. I guess if that says it, you know, like you're reading a book and then like 6 months later you're writing something and you're like, oh, I just came up with this great idea. And then a month later you're like, you know what? I read that last year. So I don't read in genre that much. I mainly do nonfiction, self-help, meditation, mindfulness, and anything to do with writing.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what are some of your traditionally published books? Because you said you're traditional and independent, correct?
Yes. And I'm getting most of those books back this year, thankfully. But one book which I will never get back is flirting with chaos, and the deal was just not. I don't know if this is a good thing to say, but anyway, I didn't sign a good deal. I didn't have a great agent at the time, so I basically signed. It's for the rest of my life. They have the book, and then after I die, my kids don't get the book. They still keep the book, but then maybe my grandkids can get the book. So, wow. But yes, I never continued to write. And that's with Simon & Schuster. Not that Simon & Schuster did the deal. I don't want to have any beef with y'all. But, right. Oh, well, wait a minute. They just got bought up by somebody. So, yeah, Simon & Schuster did that deal. But own your own stuff, authors. Any authors that are looking at this, please own your own books. Indie publishing has taken off. Before, when I started off, indie publishing was kind of like, ew. Like, that's nasty. That's what you're a self-publisher? Ew. Now it's like, you're a self-publisher. Okay, what are your books? So,
But it sounds like self-publishing is just as complicated as traditional publishing. Because, I mean, when you named off, you have your agent. You said you had your beta readers, multiple alpha readers. There's lots of people that are involved.
100%.
With independent.
I mean, yeah, and I got 2 author assistants now. I have a PA, like a promoter person. So it gets, but this is 10 years in, and me being full-time for 6 years, and me seeing this as a complete, utter business. Like, this is something I completely take serious, right? Okay. So I don't know how many people, I do have authors like who hop in. I have a couple author friends who are like, I'm not writing multicultural anymore. I'm going to write this genre because it's hard and I'm not making any money and I'm like, my whole thing is, you're not seeing it as a complete business. You're not putting all of that energy into it, because what you put into it, you're going to get back. So I might be an exhausting full-time writer. So don't take me as an example. I'm just very exhausting,
When you say you write multicultural, what exactly does that mean?
Okay. It usually means that the heroine is from one ethnicity or culture and the hero is from another. So like an interracial situation, right? I almost always, but not all the time, out of the 60 novels, about 60% of the heroines are Black women. And it's because, like when I started, I would write, white, Asian, Cuban, vampires. I don't know. That's not an ethnicity, but anyway. But I would start writing and I would submit. And anytime my heroine was not white, like if she was Cuban or Asian or Black, the agent or the publisher would reject it, and they'd put a little note. They would never do that in this year and time. But back in the day, they would say, this is such a good manuscript, but if she just was white, we would totally get this.
They would actually,
yeah, as I said, they'll never say that now. But like years ago, I kept those emails, so y'all don't come for me. But they would say, "Oh, she wasn't. If just the heroine, if she wasn't white. I mean, if she was white, it would just be so much better." Or I've gotten several publishers say, there are no Black readers, Black women just don't read, there aren't any Black romance readers. And, catering to that group is not really going to get you anywhere. I've had so many publishers take me to the side at like RWAs and RT conferences and to help me out, little advice of, hey, you probably shouldn't, because that's not really going to make you any money. So I got so beaten down and pissed off with that I began solely, kind of as an FU, solely writing ethnic heroines. So
okay,
that's where I'm at right now. I'm like, you know what? You're full of it. I have so many readers who are all different cultures, ethnicities, all different locations throughout the world. And they like my books, they like Black women that read, surprisingly. Yes. And I had a publisher say white women don't read Black heroines. That is a lie.
That's
a lie.
Yes.
So we need to stop it.
So, do you feel that there is a divide because you write multiculturally, instead of strictly one race, so just Black characters?
Mm-hmm. That's a really good question. So, it's a divide that's kind of going away. I get weird situations. Before, when I first would write multicultural, I would get that's probably a ghetto book sort of thing. And then I'd have an insecurity with even putting a Black heroine on the cover. Even Black authors would say, don't put a Black girl on the cover. It's like trick people into reading it type of thing.
Right.
Sort of mess. See, now I'm pulling away the curtain. We're looking at the wigs behind the eyes right now. And then I had a lot of Black authors or Black readers say, you don't like Black men? What's your problem? Why is it always white men? And I've had that. But I feel like in these past couple of rough 4 years, and I won't explain why, but these past years, at least for America, has been rough, and it's a huge division. And I just think that people from all sides are making an active choice to unite. And so there's less of a divide. People are embracing multiculturalism. People are just embracing all types of characters and just appreciating the story. Like when Bridgerton came out, I was so excited. But I did have some people say, that Black guy with that white girl. And I'm like, and it's so great.
Yeah.
Just look at the story and watch different races, different people fall in love. Like, let's get over the divide here,
Right. Which is really, really interesting. So I'm in a interracial relationship. And it's very funny that I would say probably the last 10 years or so, probably less than that, but watching commercials and how commercials are so intertwined and diverse with diverse families.
Yes, very biracial too. Isn't it interesting?
Very. So to have I feel like there is a divide between people that label Black love, which is 2 Black characters, and interracial romance. And I have had some within the book community kind of put their nose up at the fact that I read majority interracial romance.
Wow.
And I have nothing against 2 Black characters. I have nothing against 2 white characters.
Yeah.
It's just that I see myself, because I'm in a interracial relationship.
There we go.
In interracial stories. So, I think that's a really interesting sort of dynamic to discuss and have conversation over. If you don't mind me asking, where do you find the inspiration to write multicultural? Is it something that is personal to you, or is it just that that's just sort of how you see the world and your experience with it?
It's so many different comments I wanted to make. But the first thing, when I started writing it, it was a fantasy. And that's probably not the best thing to say, because I don't like the idea of saying, the interracial love is a fantasy, but it was an interest. And it's funny because when I first, back in the day when I was 18, long, long time ago, because now I'm in my 40s, I remember being one of those people who were just like, it's all about Black. I'm only going to listen to Black music. I'm only going to look at Black movies. I'm Black, right? Okay. And I would see a Black guy with a white woman or a Black woman with a white guy, and I would be one of those, Why? Why are they doing that? Why? And we're talking 18, 19. I joined the Navy, and you're bunking with all races. You don't got time to be on that Black pro this, pro that. We're pro let's stay alive type of situation.
Exactly.
Right?
Army here, so yes.
There we go. So, you grow as a person. So, but I still was exclusively dating black men and Spanish men for a long time. So it wasn't until I started writing and kind of exploring this fantasy where I started dating other races. And now, to me, besides my whole thing with the beef with publishers and stuff like that, I also I don't know if you heard, Issa Rae, right?
Uh-huh.
She said that she was canceled for this for a few weeks, but she said that for dating, in the dating charts, Black women and Asian men are like the lowest picked in dating, right? They're kind of considered the both like the unbeautiful people. And she says, so Black women and Asian men should start dating each other. Like, why not? And I just kind of went with that with my writing. So that's really where it's at, As far as dating, I have not dated. I stopped dating 4 years ago. So, and 2020 was my, oh girl, I'm ready to be out there.
You can't go nowhere.
It's a pandemic. So 2021. So yeah. So I'm living vicariously through your relationship and everyone else's. I love when y'all do your daily reels and stuff. It's like, yeah, girl, I'm talking to my husband too. That's right.
Oh, he's so funny. He's so funny. So do you think that your military experience helped open your eyes to a bigger, wider, more mixing world?
100%. I mean, and it's weird because you would think, like with my background, because my parents were Air Force, but when they got out, we moved a lot. So we started in New York, and New York is super diverse, but my family was a bit, I don't want to say racist, but a bit like the things they would say to me could be considered, I don't know, the 80s.
Microaggression. Very much microaggressed.
The things they would say would be a bit much. And then I remember me and my mother moved to Arizona, and I'm the only Black girl in school. And maybe those interactions too. I remember being at a slumber party, and one of the girls, like I took my socks off, and all the girls gathered around my feet and was like, look, her feet, the bottom is white. Like a monkey. And I'm like, oh. And I'm 9, so I don't know how to do it. So I'm like calling my mom.
Right.
And then we moved to South Carolina, which racism city right there. I mean, KKK is like marching like every season. So like my views on America were just not good. Navy changed all of that. Like that's where I built so many amazing, long-lasting friendships with women of all races, with men of all races, different countries. And, and I started realizing that my worldview was so limited. And so now with my kids, like my kids are so spread out and they're so open-minded that sometimes they're like, Mom, that's discriminatory. Mom, that's genderist. And I'm like, whoa, calm down, But I try to explore and show them all over so that their worldview won't be as skewed as mine was back in the day.
Oh, yeah. I completely understand that. I completely hear that because that's exactly. So my mother actually went to a predominantly white university. That's how she got her scholarship. She got a scholarship for cheerleading, mind you.
Whoa!
Idaho.
Whoa! Was she like, where's Idaho at?
Right? That's where I was actually born. Wow. My dad was from California, and then I grew up in Michigan. And there's parts of Michigan that are very, you got the KKK and you have, all that type of stuff. But growing up around the University of Michigan in a college town, there's so much diversity there.
Exactly.
So then when I joined the military, it was like okay, this is where I'm supposed to be, for one.
Yeah.
And then for two, I was so accepted because growing up in a college town in being diverse, I was always like, oh, that white boy's for me, and that white boy's for me, and that white boy. And I had no issues with that.
Yes.
So, you know, it kind of solidified what I wanted in my life by joining the military. And then, you know, later in life, it was like, okay, so when I see that divide between characters, you know, and people over characters, I'm like, do we really have to have that? Is that really necessary?
Exactly.
Is it love just love? Why does there have to really be that distinction? So
100%. 100%.
I have one more controversial question to ask you.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
So I am not one to use the N-word.
Okay.
However, I don't think you've dropped it at all in in the story.
I really doubt. I'm almost 100% sure.
Feel about it?
Okay. So, you know, my love, you know, I grew up in high school in the 90s, you know, listening to Wu-Tang and Snoop and all of these different hip hop people. So I have definitely said the N-word many times. And I thought that I was going to be a rapper. Bad idea. And so I said the N-word in my rap songs, right?
Okay.
You know, sometimes now, even in these years, I will say the N-word if I'm looking at certain things on TV, and I'm like, you know. But as far as my books, that's just a no for me. I don't think it should be in the books. I really, you know, and now I'm getting at that age where I don't even like them in movies anymore. Or even like, you know, like I saw in Issa's Insecure and they say it. It's starting to get to the point where I don't, you know, I don't want to hear it in my music. I don't want to hear it in my movies. I don't want to hear it in the books because it just keeps the word alive. Like now I get what my parents and my grandparents would say when they're just like, listen to that music, that music. Now I get it. It's like you're keeping this word alive. So we're speaking of Massimo from 365, right?
Right.
The actor who played him, Michelle Marone. I know I pronounced her first name wrong. They found some old Instagram posts where he put, you know, and he didn't spell it out, but it was in Paris, right? And he had the rock sign for Jay-Z, because that's the song N-word in Paris. It's a Jay-Z Kanye West song. Okay. So the video is him playing it, and he's like doing the rock sign, and he had the title, right? This is like 5 years or so. And people were like, they were discussing with me, should we cancel him or not? And I said, I'm not going to cancel him.
Right.
For several reasons. One, he's in Italy. I don't understand, like, to be a white American, it's a whole different situation. They know, I think, the history of the word. Not to say he doesn't know the history of the word. But two, he's clearly talking about Jay-Z. He's got the little Rock Nation thing going on. But
clearly talking about the song.
And it's the song, one of my favorite songs, and it's the title.
Right.
And he didn't write the word out. So, like, it is the song title. But for me, I kind of got annoyed with Jay-Z and Kanye West because it's like, could y'all stop making dope-ass songs with the N-word in the title?
Right? I can't sing along.
Could we stop? Could we just make it something else? You know?
Right.
So I don't use the word. I know a lot of readers who hate when it's used. So I actually bought a book called The N-Word by, I think it's Tiana Levine, and it's an interracial romance with a girl and a KKK member and how. So I just looked at it like, what? I was like, I'm just gonna check this book out. People say it's amazing, and people swear that this book is awesome. I'm like, all right, now, am I gonna be okay after this book, though? Am I gonna be okay?
I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see how that goes. If I'm all right, I'll let you know if I'm okay after this.
Okay. Alrighty. So here are some fun things, some would you rathers. Don't think about them.
All right.
Just let me know which ones. So, first one, your fingers always feel sticky or your throat always feels itchy.
Sticky fingers.
Your voice sounds like Elmo or your voice sounds like Kermit the Frog.
Oh man, Elmo. I guess I like Elmo. He's kind of good looking, even though he's young. Never mind. Just take that back.
You have no eyebrows or you have an extra finger.
No eyebrows.
Because I mean, you know, we wear glasses, so it's almost like we don't have any eyebrows anyway.
I can draw those in, but that extra finger is going to be a little difficult, you know. Where are you getting these questions? I'm loving it.
Ooh, okay. Take cold showers for the rest of your life or never get more than 4 hours of sleep again.
Oh, cold shower. I need my sleep.
Sometimes my brain just doesn't turn off, so that 4 hours is like, okay.
Sleep is super important.
And then finally, spend the night in a dumpster or spend the night in a porta potty.
Ooh, dumpster. Porta potty is good. And I'm a very OCD person, so both of those are horrific right there. But dumpster, at least you got some air, you know.
You can open it up.
Put a little blanket on the top or something. I don't know. Porta potty, no.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much, Kenya, for joining me. Today was absolutely amazing. And I really, really hope more people will go out and read your books because they are amazing. I didn't even get into some of the other standalone books that I have devoured.
With my nasty little pictures.
Oh, yes. Yes. I was just about to say, do you do your artwork or?
Oh, I wish. I have an artist that does it. It's so much fun because every time, like I just sent him a set of pictures to do yesterday, and he was like, every time he's like, okay, because the pictures of the illustrations of the sexual positions are the most fun because he's like, and so how? And I was like, yeah. And so you hold her up, and then you put the penis in here, and then he's like, okay, I have some questions that I usually don't ask people when they're commissioning. How big do you want your penis? I was like, as big as you can draw it. As big as you can draw it. Just nice and big. And then, you know, so, but he's actually in Moscow, Russia. And he's super fun. But he thinks I am crazy. Crazy.
Goodness. Those drawings are absolutely amazing. It totally caught me off guard. I mean, I was laid in bed and I was reading Quarantine. No, is it Quarantine Chill? Right?
Yeah, Quarantine
Chill. And I'm flipping through, and I was like, wait. Because I use text to speech to read my books. It helps me. And it like just continued. And I was like, wait. What's
over here? What's here? What's going on?
What was this that I just saw? Because I needs to, there's my child. Let me make sure my child's not around because.
Oh my God.
Your pictures
yes, I've been trying to put warnings because one girl was like, oh, child, I was reading that book at work, girl. I almost got fired. I said, you cannot be reading books at work, though. Don't be getting mad at me.
Well, yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Ooh, you have opened my eyes to something new. Woo, yes. So, well, thank you again, Miss Kenya Wright. I will have a list of all of her books down in the description box so you guys can go check them out. We greatly appreciate this, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure that you give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. There's a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. my Ko-fi, my PayPal, my Instagram. All of my links are down there as well. Make sure you're checking that description box. Thank you again, Miss Kenya Wright, and thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in another video.
And thanks so much for having me, too.
You're welcome. If you